I'm in the library, my favourite place, because it's where I get to learn. And every single day I learn, not just from books and seminars and lectures and workshops and my own personal learning experience, but people teach me so much. And have you ever been in an experience where an arrogant person or an ignorant person, or dare I say a stupid person, really teaches you some great stuff? So here's an example. If you're arrogant, it's been suggested that you don't know very much, but you pretend that you do. Ignorant is I don't know. Arrogant is I'm going to pretend that I know everything, or I think I do know everything, but I don't really. And if you've ever dealt with people like that, it's a very fun experience. It could be frustrating, annoying, or it could make you angry, but there's a great place to start. Could it just be a fun experience? And there's 3 ways to deal with people that think they know everything. Number 1 is in your own headspace. You must know that not one person on the entire planet knows everything about everything, even if they pretend that they do. So I always get really excited if somebody tells me that they know everything, and they might not actually say that, but everyone's got an opinion and they argue their opinion. So I always congratulate people who know a lot. I always say, you must know a lot about this topic. Congratulations for learning so much about this topic. You must have in-depth knowledge about this topic. And after that, I usually walk away, because if somebody thinks they know everything, it's going to be an embarrassing situation, because of course they don't know. So I don't want to get involved with that. I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. So I just walk away. I just say, congratulations, you obviously know a lot about this topic. I really appreciate the fact that you've learned so much about it. Walk away, walk away, walk away. If you want to practice your communication skills, and the pre-frame for this is you could put yourself into a very awkward situation. Because if you start asking questions of somebody that doesn't have as much knowledge as they think they have, then they're going to get embarrassed, they're going to feel uncomfortable, it's going to be awkward, and it usually ends up in an argument where they yell and scream at you, and they're often, well, you know that you are in an awkward situation when the person steams off in a huff and they might swear at you. So I don't wish that for anybody. I don't like those kinds of conversations. But if somebody's really, they're really arrogant to the point where they want to preach at you, tell you what they know, and you might think they're wrong, or you know that they're wrong, or their opinion is just different to yours, you could ask questions. So for example, because I'm an exercise professional and because I'm an educator and I've got an international education college that's been around since 1989, I could say I've got the right to have an opinion. I do have the right to have an opinion, as do you, but I like to keep my opinion to myself, because I want to learn from other people. I don't know everything, and that's the thing that I've learnt the hard way through my very long life, is I learn every day that I don't know very much. The arrogant people, and dare I say again, the stupid people, are so stupid they don't realise that they don't know everything. They're too stupid to know that they don't know everything. So why would you argue with an idiot? It's one of my favourite quotes when it comes to communication. If you argue with an idiot, you'll have 2 idiots arguing, and one will beat you on experience every time. So that's why I don't like to get involved in those conversations. But because I'm an educator, because I have students, and because I'm very respectful of human beings, I understand that human nature wants to tell me what to do. People often tell me what I should do, how I should think, all the ways I should exercise, how I should eat, and it seems that I'm a target for that because I have an education college. The challenge with asking questions of those people, if they don't have in-depth understanding of anatomy, physiology, exercise programming, nutrition, how the human body works, how that all works together, and you start asking them questions, they're going to get really uncomfortable. And I don't like, as I shared, I don't like to do that to anybody. We have been in a situation, both my husband, many situations, my husband and I, where people have preached at us, and from past experience where we've aimed to ask the right questions to get them to think about the right answers, there's another great quote that goes with communication. A person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. So you could try and change their mind, you could try and teach them, educate them, get them to understand a topic more effectively, but people don't like to be wrong. So they'll just, if you prove that somebody's wrong, they usually keep arguing or defending themselves because they don't want to be wrong. There's another great quote that says it's easier to fool people than to convince them that they have been fooled. So if somebody believes that a certain way to eat or exercise or any other topic you like to choose, if they believe that, if they've been fooled into believing that, to convince them that they've been fooled makes them look even more foolish. So that becomes a very ugly situation as well. So step number 1 is congratulations, you know a lot, walk away. Step number 2 is to ask questions. But there's 2 parts to that. You have to obviously have the knowledge to ask the right questions. And if you are comfortable with making people feel uncomfortable, that's probably what will happen. The suggestion is that you don't tell or don't try and get your point across, because once again, there you get an argument. So is it easier to walk away? And I always put this into perspective. There's only 24 hours in every day. That's the one thing we have in common. There's only 60 minutes in an hour. That's what we all have in common. There's only 60 seconds in a minute. We all have that in common. And I share that very specifically because I don't want to waste one of those minutes, 1 hour, 1 day arguing with an idiot. So I'd rather just walk away. If I want to practice my communication skills, and that's something that when I learned not to argue with people, I had to practice that skill of learning not to argue, not trying to get my point across, not trying to convince them against their will. So I would practice asking questions, and that's why I now know how uncomfortable that situation can be. Because if somebody preaches at you, and I'll use eating and exercise because that's my area, if somebody preaches at me about eating and exercise and I start asking them questions about anatomy and physiology, they usually get very uncomfortable because they don't have the answer. So if I ask why would I do that and how does it work, my 2 favourite questions, they don't know because they don't know their anatomy and physiology. I'll go a step further. There are some people who have a basic understanding of anatomy and physiology, but once you start digging a bit deeper, it makes them feel even more uncomfortable because if they're an expert, if they're a doctor, if they're an endocrinologist, a psychologist, an exercise physiologist, and they should know their anatomy and physiology, and they don't, they become very uncomfortable. And I don't want to upset anybody, and I don't want to do that to anybody. So where's this all leading? My suggestion, just from pure old lady experience, is first of all, why would you want to waste time with somebody who thinks they know everything? Because of course they don't. Arrogance, to me, I think arrogance is really ugly, and I can say that because I used to be arrogant. 18, 19, 20, 25, probably 30, because I was learning every day. I had all this information and I thought I knew so much and I wanted to share it with the world. Well, I learned very quickly that I don't know very much. It doesn't matter how much I know about any topic. There's always somebody who knows more than me. There's somebody who's got a better understanding. They've got more insight. And they're the people that I like to brainstorm with. I've learnt the lesson the hard way. Don't argue with people. Don't tell them what you know. Ask them what they know so that you can learn. That's the only way that I keep learning. And I learn from, and I'll use again very carefully, I learn from stupid people because I learn what I don't want to do. When somebody's preaching at me, teaching, trying to teach me, yell at me, convince me against my will, and I'm the same, you can yell and scream at me as much as you want. That's not the way to get people on your side. If you want to brainstorm an idea with somebody, shouldn't it be a 2-way conversation? You share your opinion, I share my opinion. We don't get defensive, we don't get aggressive. We just now talk about, okay, this is what you think, this is what I think. Could we take this a step further and make it even better? And that's probably my final suggestion. Suggestion number 1, walk away. Why waste time with an idiot arguing? Number 2 is ask lots of questions, but that can be awkward and uncomfortable. Number 3 is you've got a great opinion. My opinion's different to yours. Would you be interested in brainstorming both of our opinions so perhaps we can come up with something better? And if the person's not open to that, of course, why would you waste your time? But I'm sharing this with you because we live in a world where arrogance has become quite normal. I deal with people every single day who, and some of them even tell me, I know that already. People apply to come and study at the Max International Colleges and they actually say this, these words come out of their mouth. I know everything already, I just want the ticket. I'm not qualified, I haven't done the study, but I've lost 30 kilos or I've been a sports person or I'm related to a sports person or I go to the gym. I know everything already about nutrition and exercise and how to get healthy, fit and strong. I just want the ticket. Now, just as an interesting side note, they're the people that we don't accept into our college because one of the big things, of course, is to be open to learning. And if you're not open to learning, of course, you can't learn anymore. And if you can't learn anymore, it means you think you know everything. And there, of course, is the definition of arrogance. So I like to be ignorant. I want to be the person that says, I don't know that. Please inform me. I know a little bit about that topic, but not very much. Let's have a conversation. What do you know about it? And then it's open body language, lean forward, maintain eye contact, and actively listen so that you can learn more stuff. If you're interested in learning, the world is full of great things to learn. The human body is so interesting and so exciting and can do so many things. But if you think you know everything about the human body, and this is just a fun side note, because if I don't laugh, I cry. A lot of people say to me that they know their anatomy, for example, and they use words like bis, tris, abs, quads, calves, lats. And that's that uncomfortable situation where I've said, well, what does lat stand for? Or what does bi stand for? Or what's the Latin word for those? And of course, people get really uncomfortable. I don't think you need to know the Latin words, but if you're going to tell people what to do, if you're going to, and I use the car mechanic analogy on a regular basis, if you're going to fix a car, would it be a good idea to know what is a car made of and where are the parts and how do you fix them? Unfortunately, a lot of people talk about eating and exercise, but they don't even have the desire to want to learn about how the human body works. They just get a little bit of information. I'll share that again. A little bit of knowledge can be a very dangerous thing. So to wrap that all up, if you want to be healthy, fit and strong, please find an exercise professional. If you want some help to get healthy, fit and strong, find somebody that's open to learning and is continually learning. The one that tells you what to do because they think they know everything already. And there's a really important point. They might even know their anatomy and physiology, but they don't know you. They don't know your lifestyle. They don't know the foods that you like, the foods that you don't like, the exercise that you like, the exercise that you don't like. They don't know when you're available to exercise. They don't know your sleeping patterns. They don't know anything about you. And this is the fascinating thing I always find, particularly about social media, and I have to laugh again. If you send out a message to social media, how do I lose weight? How do I get fit? How do I get strong? How do I get ripped abdominals? All those questions. You'll get thousands of answers. But nobody asks questions. Who are you? What's your name? What's important to you? Why do you want to lose weight? Where do you want to lose weight from? What have you tried in the past? What's worked for you? What hasn't worked for you? Do you have a time frame? There's a whole heap of beautiful questions that would it be important to ask before we tell people? And is it possible that if we're the person who does the telling and the preaching and the you have to do stuff, that we come across as arrogant? And there's another beautiful expression, better to be humble than to be humbled. And if you are humble and you're open to learning, then you can keep learning. But if you are arrogant and closed off to learning, then you'll probably end up being humbled because somebody will ask you a question that you don't know the answer to, that you should know the answer to, and then you'll feel very embarrassed or uncomfortable. So may we all choose to be ignorant like I do. I keep blonde hair for a reason. It's probably grey now, but I keep it blonde because when you're a blonde-haired woman, people tend to teach you stuff because they think that you don't know everything. And I want to be that person every day of my life. Open to learning, excited about learning, have a big library to keep learning, and live your life to the max. Ignorant instead of arrogant. What a great idea.